I've never been more sure that Jessica. I've never been more sure that Chelsea is someone that I can literally talk to about anything. And
hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know, it's Beats, a girl Kobe coming at you for a new video. Today we're going to be talking about Love is Blind Season 6, Episode 1 through 6. So this season of Love is Blind was set in North Carolina, I believe. And we meet, the guys and girls, the contestants, and basically there is 5 couples that got engaged. So first we see this guy named Matthew. He is chatting to Amber and a girl named AD, which stands for Amber Desiree. So Matthew, he's 36. He was just chatting to these girls and asking them these questions. And as soon as he heard something that he didn't like, he just started walking out rooms. And I think the only person that actually got him to open up first was AD. And everybody was shook, you got him to talk, because everyone was just he was just a non-factor for them. But then he was also talking to Amber. So him and AD, have created a connection, got a connection. They were all good. That was becoming one of AD's top contenders. But AD is also talking to another guy named Clay. And they were getting on to until Clayton basically asked AD about her physical looks. Oh, what do you look like? Describe it to him. And she was like, no, we came here for a reason to find love blindly. And if I tell you what I look like or describe it to you, then that's defeating the whole purpose. So she shut him down, whatever. And, she was very upset about what was asked of her. So that basically put Matthew back on the top. So Matthew, he was talking to AD, basically saying oh, if I ask you for your hand in marriage, I want to talk to your father just to get his permission. But AD's father, passed away. So it was very she told him that and whatnot. So, they had a heart-to-heart about that situation. Go back to the girls' lounge and, we hear Amber basically saying the same thing Matthew brought up, oh, if I ask for your hand in marriage, I want to talk to your father. So hearing this, AD's she's been bamboozled. This man just told me the same thing in the pod, basically very similarly, and you're over here basically raving about what Matthew said to you. Oh, if we're ready to go, I'll go right now with you. So when AD heard this, she was shook, very shook that was happening. And she never let Amber know that Matthew was also talking with her, but she was very shook that happened. So her and Matthew had a conversation about it, and he tried to clear it up, whatever. But when it got back to Amber was feeling like a fool. She was over here ranting and raving about her date with Matthew, but then Matthew's also telling AD similar stuff. So Amber took it upon herself to leave the whole experiment, and it got back around to Matthew. So Matthew, I guess, after hearing the situation, he was just you know what? He basically broke up with AD. He's we're on national TV, or, America Loves the Underdog. All this kind of weird stuff that seemed he was just in it for, being on TV. And he ended up ending with AD in a way, but AD was kind of already put off, and he decided to leave as well to go find Amber. So I guess Amber was his top contender then, if you left as soon as Amber left. So that's basically the whole Matthew, Amber, AD situation. They need to bring us the Matthew and Amber tapes, because we didn't even know there was a real general competition, or not really competition, but Amber was a high contender for Matthew. until, you know, that was said. Like, that really shook everybody after that first episode. We also have another, like, 3 triangle, which was Jessica, Chelsea, and Jimmy. Jessica is 28. She has a 10-year-old daughter. And when she came on Love is Blind, she was, like, a little worried that, you know, she brings that up. You know, a lot of these guys would not be interested. So she decided to, like, let them know her first before bringing it up. So her only and top contender, you know, was Jimmy. Jimmy, you know, was like, oh, you know, he was getting to know Jessica and Chelsea. And I guess when Jessica revealed that she had a 10-year-old daughter, he was kind of put off a bit. So he didn't have, like, the best reaction at all, which was like, I guess it is a lot to take on. Like, you're going to have to take care of a child, you know, that's not yours. So, but, you know, he didn't take it on, you know, well. And, you know, that kind of made Jessica upset. Then when Chelsea revealed that, you know, she's been married and divorced before, he was just like, yeah, it was a bit too much for him. So, you know, then, you know, him and Chelsea were having conversations. They talked about looks a bit. She kind of mentioned that, you know, her friends tell her that she looks like Megan Fox, but she doesn't see it. So he was, I guess, intrigued by that, you know, look-alike situation. Chelsea, in fact, does not look like Megan Fox. I mean, she does have dark hair and, you know, like blue eyes, but that's about it. She does not look like Megan Fox at all. So I don't know if that, you know, stuck with him or whatever, but we'll see later. So him and Jessica and Chelsea were having, like, this, like, you know, basically fight for the love situation until one day he broke up with Jessica, and Jessica was, you know, very upset. Like, you know, you need to be direct. Like, this isn't, like, why are you having a pity party for yourself? You need to be direct with this. Like, because Jessica's direct, and he's kind of, like, beating around the bush with these situations. So Laura, before he even broke up with Jessica, Laura told Jessica, you need to leave on your own accord. You need to go. But she didn't have a reason. She just, like, trust me. And I felt like that was very weird, because I'm just like, you can't really tell somebody to leave the experience on your own accord without giving them any type of proof, any type of, like, something to go on. Just a trust me, bro, is not really, you know, helping this. Like, you're coming in for yourself to find the love of your life, whatever, and you're telling me just to leave because you feel like, you know, Jimmy is gonna choose Chelsea. I mean, she was right. He did ended it with Jessica, and, you know, ended up proposing to Chelsea, and Chelsea did say yes. So she was right, but I'm just like, she should have gave Jessica a little bit more explanation.
When you see and realize what you missed out on, you are going to choke. You're gonna choke. You are going to need your EpiPen to open up your airways, because you are going to be in disbelief of what you missed out on.
So therefore, Jessica did not get proposed to. That's the end of another, you know, love triangle. So then we also have this Laura, Sarah, and Jeremy love triangle. Sarah and Jeremy were, like, getting it on, like, having, like, nice little back and forth. You know, he actually revealed a lot of, like, you know, very deep stuff. Like, he told her that his father passed away, and that, you know, they can go to, you know, his grave site and, like, just, like, bring Sarah with him and talk about it and stuff like that, which I don't think he ever revealed to Laura. So, you know, they were actually getting a little bit more deeper, but then I guess his banter with Laura was, like, I guess something that he also really liked. So he ended up breaking it up with Sarah. He didn't really have, like, a good rhyme or reason about that, but he just said, like, I guess he felt it, that Laura was the person for him. So he ended up proposing to Laura. So we have, you know, another couple. We also have Brittany and Kenneth. Brittany and Kenneth, basically in the same age range. Kenneth is 25, Brittany is 24. You know, Kenneth is a school principal, and, you know, Kenneth is a black male and Brittany is white. So, you know, but they have the similar goals, similar personalities. You know, they both are you know, religious as well, you know, obviously. And so it like just seems like he found his person, you know, no matter like what she looked like, which was kind of like basically the essence of what Love is Blind is. So they also got engaged as well. We also have AD and Clayton. So after, you know, Clayton apologized about, you know, how he said, like, you know, he needs to know how AD looks. You know, AD put him in his place. He apologized to her, and then, you know, they talked and, you know, moved past it. And then Clayton actually did propose to AD, and they're engaged as well. And then last but not least, we have Amy and Johnny, and they were probably one of the first couples to get engaged as well. They're both 27, you know, they have like this, you know, goofy banter, you know, they're hitting it off pretty well. So these are your 5 engaged couples. We have Kenneth and Brittany, we have Amy and Johnny, we have AD and Clayton, we have Jimmy and Chelsea, and then we have Jeremy and Laura. So it's going pretty good. And we have at least 2 triangles, because we have Jessica, who liked Jimmy, and then we also have Sarah, who had a connection with Jeremy. So they get to their little, you know, honeymoon situation, getting to know each other, whatever, getting to know things about each other, whatever. When Jimmy and Chelsea first saw each other, he actually said in like his little confessional that, you know, she kind of like a little bit lied about her appearance, but he's fine with it, whatever. Because obviously he was still dwelling on the fact that she said, like, you know, she looked like Megan Fox. But
she definitely lied to me on some how she looked. Chelsea told me she looked like Megan Fox.
I'm so sweaty.
But you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I'm very attracted to her. I can work with that.
But you know, he said he's fine with it. He still loves her, so they're moving past it. Then, you know, when they got back to their honeymoon, and on honeymoon, he was like, Chelsea asked, like, what was the first thing that you noticed about her? And he said her big shiny white teeth. Okay, like that's really it. And then, you know, he said he was keeping it PG because I guess he liked, you know, the up top. So then, you know, everybody's getting it on. Everybody's, you know, having a time with their couple, which is really nice. Then we get to them all meeting each other in, you know, in episode 6, everyone's seeing each other and whatnot. And the biggest highlights from episode 6 was that I guess Chelsea in a way feels basically insecure about herself. She did reveal to Jimmy that she's been cheated on before and stuff like that. And, you know, it feels like she's very insecure about herself because of what happened in her past. So with that being said, you know, in the pods, you know, I guess 80, what's being said, her body is T, you know, and she does work out in the gym to have that body. So I guess Chelsea called 80's body, you know, a bookshelf of the sorts, and it got revealed to Jimmy. So then when they all met up, Jimmy said, that girl, that's what he said, that girl. And she was like, yeah, she has a bookshelf. So I guess she called it out and she asked 80, like, how did you get your body so good? And she was like, Jim and Jesus.
They're good. That woman is absolutely stacked. AD. I said it in the most respectful.
You can say whatever you.
And I guess, you know, Chelsea felt very awkward and uncomfortable in that whole, I guess, situation that, you know, Jimmy noticed how 80's body looked. So she stepped off to the side, and then I guess 80 tried to make it, not 80, but Jimmy tried to make it not awkward and like kind of apologize to 80, like, you know, that he was checking her out. So they had a conversation to the side while Chelsea was like feeling a little uncomfortable. She was ordering drinks, whatever, of the sorts. Amy came up to her, Amy stand next to her, and she was just like, you know, what's going on? But they waited until after they left, you know, where AD and Jimmy were chatting, and they went over to the side. But the conversation between AD and Jimmy was basically very good about, like, how are you doing in your couples? Basically the standard, like, are you good with the person that you're with? Da-da-da-da-da. You know, Jimmy basically raved about him being with Chelsea. He was just like, he's the happiest one here. He basically said that to multiple people. He didn't have a bad thing to say about Chelsea, which is like, you know, Chelsea thinking that, you know, he's having like some type of flirty conversation. He did hug AD, you know, when they first started talking, and then after they finished chatting, they had a little hug, and that was it. That was basically just the conversation. After the conversation, Jimmy went over to Amy, Laura, and Chelsea. They chatted a bit, you know, talked about, you know, Jimmy's first seeing the girls that he dated in the pods, and they're all seeing him for the first time. So they're just chatting a bit, whatever. Amy's like, you know, before Amy was comforting Chelsea and stuff like that about, you know, feeling a bit uncomfortable with that whole situation, I guess. You know, that, you know, Chelsea was dwelling on the fact that, you know, what's going on here. So then, you know, everybody's just talking about the relationship. They all basically said that, you know, they're good with who they're with. They're fine with who they're with. A conversation that I really liked was between AD and Kenneth. You know, Kenneth was saying, like, you know, you and Clayton look good, to AD, like, you know, you have a queen right there, da-da-da-da-da. And after that conversation, you know, AD was just basically asking Kenneth, like, you know, how are you and Brittany? You know, have you dated white women before? And, you know, Kenneth was like, no, Brittany's his first white girl that he's dated. And, you know, she is his person, even though she's white. And then they also have a conversation that, you know, when they do have children, you know, they're going to be mixed, but they're going to still identify as, you know, black as well. So is she okay with dating, you know, or dating someone who's black and being okay with raising black kids? So because after you get off your honeymoon, you're going to get back to life and reality, which, you know, people are going to look at you about being in an interracial couple. So they were having like a real conversation, which was really nice, like, because Clayton, AD, and Kenneth are the only like black engaged people here. So they were just chatting, and it was like a really good conversation between them. And, you know, they were just saying, like, you can be pro-black while also being an interracial couple. So, and that's true, you know, that is true. You can still defend and, like, you know, do what you gotta do. A lot of people look at it as like, you know, there's a conversation right now that's going around like Usher, you know, he's married to his wife now, and his wife is not black. And people are basically saying, like, how is Usher going to make like a TV series or a movie about black love if he does not partake currently in black love? So everyone's kind of bringing up his past with him and I guess Tamika. That was his like first wife's name or whatever. And like, you know, he did marry somebody black before his current wife, but, you know, they were just saying, like, how could Usher talk about black love if he's not partaking in it right now? So that's like a, you know, current event that's right now that's going along with, you know, what Kenneth and Brittany is going on with on the show. But anywho, like AD said, you could be pro-black while also partaking in whatever you're partaking in. But anyways, continuing on, we later get into the episode where I guess there was like some type of game or a little, not game, or like little inside joke between AD and Laura and some of the girls. And I guess Laura called like hitting AD's chest a bean dip. Like she would just smack AD's chest. And she told that to Jeremy. So Jeremy brought it up because AD went over to Jeremy, Clayton, and Jimmy while they were chatting, and it got brought up, and she was like to Laura, you told Jeremy about the bean dip, and they're like, what is a bean dip? Because they never, like, I don't know what that is. And, you know, that, you know, AD was like demonstrating like that's what it is. So, And she was like, did you tell Jeremy to do that to me? And she was like, that like AD was very upset. And like, of course so. Like, you're telling a guy, you're a fiance or any other dude about, you know, a bean dip, which was what Laura did to AD, which is hitting her chest, which is just like, no. So, you know, Clayton was like, you know, don't do that to AD. Like, yeah, you better not do that and all that stuff. So Laura came over to the group and was just like, it's just a joke. It's just a joke. Why are you making everything out of nothing? And, you know, she was just upset about Jeremy bringing it up. Like, oh, Jeremy should never bring it up. You know, it's just a joke. So then AD tried to like tell Laura, like, it might be nothing to you, but it's very offensive. Like, Clayton has a right to be upset that you would tell your fiance about the bean dip, which involves hitting my chest. And, you know, she was just like, oh, it's just like whatever. Like, she's just so mad about Jeremy. And Jeremy was just like, well, Jeremy doesn't really know the joke. You just told him about it, so he probably doesn't know it. I mean, Jeremy, I guess he was smart enough to know that this was a joke. Like, he wasn't going to try his luck and do that to AD. Like, he knows better. But it was just very insensitive and I guess disrespectful to even bring it up to Jeremy's attention, because at the end of the day, it was just, I guess, a little inside thing between the girls' pod, like whatever in the girls' pod area. So she was upset with Jeremy about it. You know, they're going to have a chat later, whatever. So we get back to this whole Chelsea situation with Jimmy. And I guess Jeremy was kind of up to hear about it. So they were like, do you want to go home or do you want to go home? And I guess he was just like, he got up and he just like, yeah, I want to go home. Like, I guess he was up to here because he just didn't like the fact that, you know, it was like his fault for even, I guess, bringing up the bean dip, and she was just like upset. You know, he was just upset about it. So he, I guess, got up and left. Chelsea, when she got back to the room with Jimmy, she was just like expressing to Jimmy like, oh, she felt so, I guess, unloved by Jimmy because he wasn't like being with her all night or kissing her and da-da-da-da. And like Jimmy had to tell Chelsea, like, I've been, you know, talking like highly of you. I'm like the happiest one here. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I came over to you and the girls, like, I kissed you than probably any other couple here. Like, what are you talking about? I guess Chelsea felt very insecure about, I guess, what's going on. I guess she feels like, you know, she keeps on asking Jimmy, like, oh, are you okay? Do you still like me? Da-da-da-da. And I guess Jimmy keep on telling her, like, yeah, I'm good. I got you. Like, I'm good. Like, this and that. Like, she just keep on trying to, like, I guess, reassure. And he is reassuring her, but it's just, like, you can only reassure some people, like, a little too much. Like, it's getting too much. Like, we got you. We good. Like, you not every single second of the day you gotta reassure Chelsea, like, they're at a party, he's mixing and mingling, talking to people that he never seen before. And, you know, he has come back and circle back to his couple, like his main couple. Like, I don't know what Chelsea was really expecting. I'm not really sure, but it is what it is. And that's where the episode left off with. You know, he did apologize and, you know, they seem to be good going to bed, but it just seems like it is not looking good for Chelsea and Jimmy and Jeremy and Laura at this point. So we see a preview for what's happening in the seasons. And obviously, there's going to be drama in some capacity with the couple. Like, not everything's going to be light and roses. I feel like the people who has the least amount of drama from the previews was Amy and Johnny. They had the least. Now, the people who have the most was probably Laura and Jeremy. Because when Sarah Ann comes into the preview, he talks to Sarah Ann until 5 in the morning. Which it doesn't even look good. And then Jimmy and Chelsea, I guess, when Jessica came up into the picture, you know, it seems he told, you know, Jessica that she was his number one, this and that and the third. And it's just not looking good. AD and Clayton, they have little tips and whatever. I mean, if AD wants to be a fixer-upper and fix up Clayton, you know, show him, you know, the way to be a good dude in a relationship, then I guess that's her task that she wants to do. I mean, I feel like he is a work in progress. I mean, if AD can, you know, fix him up, you know, let her do her, okay? But let's see where that journey takes them. I feel like they're little tiffs. I feel like they're gonna get down the aisle. Kenneth and Brittany are gonna get down the aisle. I was kind of shocked to see they have little problems in that preview too. But I feel like they get through it. And then Amy and Johnny also get down the aisle. Now, I'm not too sure about Jeremy and Laura and Chelsea and Jimmy. But we'll have to see in the next coming episodes. But all that I have to say is that having 6 episodes at once, okay, Love is Blind season 6, that was kind of a choice, but it was a nice one. You know, there was a bit of little drama and stuff, but I feel like 3 out of these 5 couples will get married, which I mean is a plus because last season was only one singular couple. Okay, one singular couple got married last season, so we can get with 3. We can get with 3. But anyway, guys, this is Love is Blind season 6, episodes 1 through 6. And if you guys like the video, comment down below, let me know your thoughts, comments, concerns, and yeah, subscribe to my channel, subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. Peace.